This is the chat log text analysis app, and this app is sort of a recognition that a lot of the data from the web comes in unstructured text form. So one common example you can think of are reviews. So Amazon reviews, unstructured text. In this case, it's another common example, which is chat log text. So what this app is essentially data that comes from an African nonprofit where their religious workers offer support for traumatic experiences that citizens underwent in their regional government. And the data kind of looks like this. This is like a sample of it. We've got a timestamp, the username, and then the message. And we kind of parsed that data and turned it into some statistics and some nice visualizations. So we start on the overall tab. We get some overall statistics such as the number of monthly visits to that chat room, the most frequent visitor, the busiest month. Down beneath it, you can see a time series plot of, we only have about a week of data, a little less than a week, and it's a time series plot of the number of visits each of those days over that week. Then there's a little heat map. The heat map right now is showing the hour by the day. So you can kind of see the busiest times are the evening of the 25th, and then sometimes middle of the day on the 21st and the 23rd are pretty busy. And then just a simple bar chart of the hour and the number of visits per hour over the different hours. And you can actually change the plotting variables. So I could say weekday instead. Now it shows the number of the visits per weekday at the bottom, and the heat map adjusts. Although again, since we only have a week of data, this isn't the most informative heat map. On the second tab, user comparisons, you can actually select two of the usernames, two of the users from the chat room, and you get a number of statistics kind of comparing them. So you get the parts of speech they use, the number of unique words, the number of sentences, whether they used any hashtags in their messages, their Flesch Kincaid score, and their sentiment and an estimate of their overall how joyous, how sad, how surprised their messages are based on sentiment analysis. Finally, the last tab is user connections. This lets us do a little bit of some work as far as visualizing the connections between users. So in this case, what we have is a heat map and showing for each user sort of how often did they respond to a message from that other user. So for instance, we're treating any subsequent message as a response. And then what we see is for, our most frequent user, how often and frequently are they actually making connections with that person. And you start to see which users interact with the most and who are sort of the unique connections or the more common connections that are being formed.